This is TWiT.
Imagine having an iPhone that has your recipe, and it says, okay, you're going to go start cutting the chicken, put the pan on the stove, and then the pan, as soon as you put the pan on the stove, the app tells the stove to turn on. Yep. And it heats the pan, and the pan tells the stove what temperature it's at. So that it keeps on heating the pan until the pan reaches the temperature, and then it's constantly making sure the pan stays at that temperature. At the same time, it tells you to go, now put your chicken in. You put your chicken in. And so there's like, it then just keeps on doing what it needs to do with the pan, and the pan's talking to the stove, and the phone's talking to both of them. And I mean, that is probably 2 or 3 years away. I mean, and so we're still looking at this stuff.
Also,
that is
even simple
very,
stuff
very
like turn on the lights. You're in the, sorry.
No, I'm just saying that you have to accept that you're solving problems that are great for nerds, but for ordinary people, they've got no problem creating bad fried eggs the first 2 or 3 times, and then after the third time you've created bad fried eggs, you understand how to make fried eggs, and you don't need computers to remind you. Take the pan off the stove now. Like, make sure you add the butter now. Oh no, that's too much butter. Take some butter out.
But I think it's it's more of a Blue Apron on steroids. You know where it's really sorting, like you have these things that are being sent to you, and I can imagine the market is really an Amazon market in a lot of ways, where on my I'm going to get to watch a little thing on how to do it on my Echo show or whatever, and then it's going to show up from Whole Foods. And then it's going to talk to everything to do what I want it to do. And people will be more adventurous. Yeah, sure that fried eggs is probably a rough one. But if you want to make chicken cordon bleu and you've never made it before, and you want it to actually turn out because you got a date coming over or something, but
there's also like just basic stuff like turn on the light, and you have to say turn on the kitchen light. Even if you're in the kitchen, it doesn't know that you're watching your phone, whatever. There's motion sensor in the kitchen, and that's the light that you mean. You've got to be specific every time. The context part is still super laggy. The prediction part doesn't really exist yet. The ability to talk and not be super specific about what you want in what order and then break it apart into minute chunks is still very like, again, we're at super beginning of these being not very good assistants. They're good at taking orders, but they're not very good assistants yet.
Well, that's where I like the Google Assistant. I was walking home just last week from someplace. I needed to take the commuter rail home. Asked how long. I'm trying to figure out if I should walk it or I should just get an Uber or whatever, and just asked the assistant how far is it from here to the train station, and says, well, by MBTA it's 6.2 miles, and showed me where to pick up the green line. But then I just simply said, what if I walk? Now it understands that we're continuing the conversation, that he's saying, we'll take the request I just gave you and modify it thusly. So I think that the Google Assistant is showing that. I
mean, Siri shipped with sequential inference. It's just they're not getting better from it. They got like basic 2-step sequential inference, and they're left it there.
I do think that Google Assistant is getting better at that. But what I was about to say though is that so many simple, stupid things like here in my new place, I've got a Google Home in the office. I've got a Google Home in the living room, and it annoys me that I had to place them so that if I give a command in one place, it's not going to be picked up by my phone on my desk. It's not going to be that we're not going to have multiple devices fighting over it. We really should have these 2 Google Homes on the phone, understanding that, okay, just like if you're old enough to remember having one phone in the house and everyone as an extension. So just the act of putting your hand over the mouthpiece and yelling, I got it, so everyone else just puts down the receivers. That's what we need. It's simple things. But what you're talking about, like learning that this is my routine. If I turn off the lights in the living room, I'm probably going to be turning off the lights in the bedroom very, very shortly because it's now 11 p.m. and I'm
just warm up the bedroom because I'm going there or whatever. Yeah.
Right. All these things are very, very, I think, are within reach. You're not talking about a moonshot to get this done. I think that they're just waiting for enough normal people to be using this stuff that they can actually take advantage of it. Not only that, but trust it.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have our, the Echo just randomly. I mean, of course, my name is close, but it is. But the other issue is that even when my kids aren't talking about, like, we'll be watching TV and suddenly the Echo says, I don't understand what to do there. And it's just like out of complete nowhere.
Forbid you, imagine you say seriously. Well, that's the thing too. Like Siri is supposed to do this voting system where if you just say the word and you have a bunch of, because you can have you can have your phone, your roommate or partner's phone, or a kid's phone, or somebody else's phone, an iPad, a watch. You can have all these devices in the area. I once was driving in a car and I lifted my arm up and I had a phone on the dash and two phones I was just testing with on the side, and I said the command word, and like they argued for like 2 seconds over which one was going to answer it. And they're supposed to have this voting system where it takes this telemetry and realizes what device has a screen on, which has it off, which is the last one you use, which is the closest proximity to you, and decide which one to answer. But it's not always fast and it's not always right, and it creates what Andy said, where suddenly you hear a voice upstairs. You're like, no, I am obviously downstairs.